Start over again?
I would. Yeah.
That way the folks...
Because the numbers on the RTV6 Facebook page are huge. And so now you have a competitive advantage if you're on the app because you kind of know what we're going to be talking about and you can get in first with some of your questions.
Hey, we're on Facebook apparently. Brian Green, yes? That's the info we have. We welcome those of you. RTV6 Facebook Live. Check the thingy.
Okay, I'll start looking at it here.
Should I?
Yeah, we're live. Oh, well, maybe.
Hi, how we doing? Hi, welcome everybody. Sorry for the delay. Technical difficulties. Sometimes when it gets cold, sometimes it's, hey, hit the thing.
Yeah, we're there, so it'll start popping up. Don't be alarmed. I'm here just as a mere caddy to Dave's thoughts. I'll be the caboose on his train of thought, and I brought our bear here because we all need a big hug after that Colts game. And as I told Dave earlier, we really need to play the Bears 3 or 4 more times, and then we'd be in good shape. I
appreciate you sitting in because Michael Grady's busy working the Pacers game right now. The Pacers taking on the Charlotte Hornets with former Pacer Roy Hibbert, now a member of the Hornets. So anyway, he'll have a report tonight at 11 o'clock on the news at 11. Brad Brown, he's on vacation, a well-earned vacation. So it's me, and thanks for stopping by. And you brought dinner as well.
I do, and we have guests.
We have guests. Cinnamon writes in. Muncie is checking in. Good evening, Muncie. Dave Kraft, at this point, again, who cares? I mean, that's a solid question. You know, and it begs the question, the Colts have a home game to wrap things up on New Year's Day. How many Colts fans are going to be there? What is Lucas Oil Stadium going to look like?
But I think you ran a soundbite with one of the players, or Michael did, basically about that with the players. And what's the intensity level? Is the air out of the building or not? And people are always playing for jobs and pride and the you never know what can happen factor.
I would argue that Chuck Pagano is probably playing for a job right now, although that ship may have been already been sailed at this point, because I don't know if Chuck's going to be around. I don't know if the general manager, Ryan Grigson's going to be around next year. I think there's going to be some big front office changes in store with this team, and I think a lot of Colts fans welcome that. I will tell you probably what's not going to happen, and if I may get in front of this, I don't think Peyton Manning's coming as general manager of the Colts. I know Colts fans would love to see that. It's not going to ownership. I could see Peyton being an owner of a team, but I don't think he wants to be there at 5 a.m. to start going through tape and all this stuff. I don't see Peyton really doing that.
Some of our guests are probably going to be making more declarative statements than questions. Patricia Lacey, the Colts need to win some games. Please get yourselves together.
That would help. That's a great. Get it together, guys. I like that.
So this is, you said the ship has sailed, and Dave Kraft said it sailed.
Yeah.
So my first thought does Robert Kraft of the Patriots have a son named Dave?
Well, if he does, he's probably watching the Patriots right now.
Maybe.
They're happening on ESPN right now. Bubbly McJingle writes, I'm not sure what that means. Whiteland checking in. Greenwood, Jane A. Guy, go Colts.
Here, don't let me take over your equipment. This is your big phone.
That is my phone now, isn't it?
So
Dave Kraft says yes. He's Robert Kraft's son.
So we're on to something. Who knew we had a Kraft among us? And if you were going to set sail, you would set sail on a Kraft. All right, I know you've got stats and you've got numbers and you've got thoughts about the game.
Well, I mean, it's just you throw up the. Do we have time to put up the scoreboard? We'll kind of reset the show here. Brian Green is in the studio control room right now. I mean, we all kind of know the final anyway. 22-17, the final. Andrew Luck, 24-45, 2 touchdowns, but he had 3 turnovers. Colts couldn't stop the run, and it was a head-scratcher because all of a sudden, towards the end of the game, Houston started throwing the ball. Like, what are you doing throwing the ball? Don't let Brock Osweiler mess this up for you. Let Houston continue to run the ball. But ultimately, it's all about the AFC South and the AFC South standings, and the Colts need a lot of help. And I mean a lot of help. They are not Michael Wade-Moss. They are not mathematically eliminated. The Colts still have a chance. So you're saying there's a chance.
You need to get that. That's the best Jim Carrey line ever. So you're telling me there's a chance.
You're telling me there's a chance. So Michael Wade-Moss writes in, they are mathematically eliminated. No, they're still alive, but they need a lot of help. The Texans, by the way, finish next 3 games. They host Jacksonville, so that should be a W. They host Cincinnati. That's probably a W. Then they go on the road at Tennessee to play the Titans. And if both Tennessee and the Houston Texans win the next two, that last game essentially is for the AFC South Championship. So that could be some intrigue right there. Of course, the Colts, if you don't know, they are at Minnesota this coming Sunday. And then on Christmas Eve, they are at the red-hot Oakland Raiders. Don't see the team winning that one. By the way, what's the NFL doing playing on Christmas Eve? That's one of the
I know the NBA plays basketball on Christmas Day.
Well, yeah, but it's, anyway, so that's a whole other thing.
So Mike Gribben, he's a fan to the end. Win or lose, it's go horse.
All right.
Michael Wade Moss says, we said last year, 2 with Jim Carrey meme. So in other words, we were doing the same thing last year. Tell me there's a chance,
so
or there is a chance.
You're telling me there's a chance. What else? Anything else?
Tammy Howard says, losing viewers. Now, we're not sure what you're talking about, whether the Colts are or we are. Facebook viewers.
Story of my career. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Don't put that kind of pressure on us, okay?
Let's see here. Still, boys should be home with families. I agree. Christmas Eve the game, think about this. They're going to play 4 o'clock on Christmas Eve, our time, which should be 1 o'clock out in Oakland. But I'm just thinking, that's kind of a time for families and whatnot. I'd rather...
You should hibernate with your family at that point, you know?
Right up next
So this bear was given for the toy drive, and it's really been therapeutic throughout the entire building, not just during sporting events, but, if you're just having a rough day, I bring the bear to you wherever you're at.
If you follow RTV6 on the social media, you've seen a lot of the bear. Mm-hmm. Especially the morning show kids have had a lot of fun with that, haven't they?
Yeah, it's fun to have a mascot. We do need a mascot. So they had their press conference today. Coach Pagano talked. Did you learn anything? Was there anything earth-shattering out of that, or was it more to what you would expect?
No, didn't really learn anything. However, the news of the day is this. Again, if you're just joining us here on Facebook Live, 3 players for the Colts now placed on injured reserve, so effectively done for the rest of the season. That includes Jack Muhort. You saw Jack being helped off the field yesterday, the left guard for the offensive line. I'm guessing it was a left knee, probably an ACL is my guess. No official confirmation of that, though, but a left knee injury. So Jack Muhort, offensive lineman, gone. Safety Clayton Gathers, he also placed on injured reserve. Kurt Majette, linebacker, he's on injured reserve. DeQuell Jackson obviously didn't play, serving that 4-game suspension. Robert Mathis, although he's getting better with the bicep, he didn't play. And all of those guys on defense were gone. And the Colts just couldn't make it up defensively against the Houston Texans. One of the many issues the Colts have had. And earlier this afternoon, Chuck Pagano helped address some of that.
It's another game. It's a tough loss. It's a disappointing loss. We had an opportunity, and we let it slip, through our fingers. No more disappointed than anybody else, in this building. No more disappointed than those players. No more tougher, on me than those people. Again, we all know, what we signed up for. We understand what the expectations are, and you can't, fall prey. You can't sit and, look around and listen and read and do all that stuff. You have to keep charging forward. That's all you can do. And, you guys understand and know that I have great perspective on things, and I always keep that perspective with me through this whole thing. So life's tough, football stuff. That's just how it goes. So these tests, these trials, these fires that you go through, they'll only make you stronger and make you better for the next one that's coming.
Yeah, Chuck Pagano obviously speaks from someone who is a cancer survivor. He has a little different perspective on some of these issues. However, at the end of the day, you got to win some games. It's a bottom line business, and right now the Colts aren't winning. So whether or not he's going to be back next year, I think is definitely in play. Come January 2nd, they call it Black Monday in the NFL. That Monday after the last regular season game, and I wouldn't be surprised if we're out at the Colts complex talking about Chuck not being around for next season, and maybe even Ryan Grigson as well.
So Mike Gribben says here, everyone says our O-line is terrible because it's hard to win when you can't have consistency due to injuries. So that's Mike's
This
thought.
is true. It's a good point, too. But I think Luck, and he puts himself in these positions where he's hanging on to the ball too long. We saw one play that led to an interception yesterday. He held on to the ball for 7 seconds. He was out there in the backfield running around. He's just trying to make a play. He's trying to do the right thing. But at some point, these other guys on Houston's roster, they're also getting paid. And after 7 seconds, Jadeveon Clowney pretty much laid out Luck, causing interception, and he just hangs. He's creating his own issues at some point during the course, and too many times as well. What else we got here? Keep chopping wood. Matt chimes in, which is kind of one of the cliches that.
Michael Wade Moss. Then again, this time of year, almost every player is hurt to some degree.
Yeah.
This one saying Bonnie Shortridge is saying that Grigson is the one who needs to be gone. So everybody has opinions.
No, it's. I wouldn't be surprised. January 2nd, there's a cleaning of the house when it comes to the front office, coaching staff, and the GM. Let's go back to the complex earlier today. Joe Wrights, who just last week was nominated for the Colts Walter Payton Man of the Year award, which is a tremendous honor. Wrights, of course, is a local guy, Hamilton Southeastern grad, does a lot for the community. But then all of a sudden, you got to play a game. You got to put all that stuff, goodwill behind you. You got to play the game, and the Colts didn't show up offensively. Here's Joe earlier today.
The feel is that we didn't play well enough to win, but it's always good to come to work. I think it's therapeutic to come in the building and get here early and work out and get your body going and get your mind going and watch the tape with a critical eye, and that's what we did. And it's the old adage, and it holds true every week. No matter what happens the week before, it's a 24-hour rule and move on. And, we broke from meetings, so now, we're getting ready for Minnesota and what is a really good Vikings team with a really, really good defense that we're going to face on Sunday.
Joe, when you guys prepared to win, you expected to win, I'm sure. When you drove home last night, it sort of hit you. I can't believe we let that opportunity slip through.
Yeah, it was tough because, you want to win them all, and especially you want to win your home games and your home division games. But like I said before, we can't do anything about that now. There's no time for pity parties in this league, and nobody really cares what happened the week before, whether you won, lost, played good, played bad, whatever. So like I said, we got to get ready to go up, and it's going to be a tough environment. Obviously a new stadium, but, playing in Minnesota before, it's always loud. Their fans up there love football. We know it's going to be a crazy environment, and we're going to have to really be on our stuff this week, and we're going to have to improve and correct the mistakes we made yesterday so we can play better this week.
Just reading some more comments here on Facebook Live. By the way, do you like the fact we hear from some of these guys during Horseplay? I feel like it's kind of cool to hear them uncut a little bit, to kind of let them talk a little. Yeah, because
we have more time here than you do during a sportscast.
You got that right. Eric Hederscheit writes in, and I hope I pronounced your name right there, Eric. Luck needs to stop being the nice guy and take over the offense. Remember Peyton and Saturday's explosion, which I believe that was a Monday night game, roughly 10 years or so ago. Yeah, I remember that. I just don't know. I don't know if this is going to sound crazy. I don't know if Luck is. How can I put this? I think he lacks some of the leadership qualities that you probably need to be a quarterback in the NFL. Does that make any sense? And I'm jaded because we come off 14 years of Peyton Manning, who was the undoubted leader of this team. And now you've got a guy who, Luck's as athletic as it gets, but I don't know if when he says something, the guys step up and rally behind whatever he says. Does that make any sense? I don't know. I don't know if he's that guy. I don't know who the emotional leader is on this team. And I think that's something they've got to figure out moving forward next season, the season after that. They're just not that guy.
So when you say the leader that way, but is he a leader when you come to the line of scrimmage if he's going to change the play?
Oh, yeah.
So he's doing all that.
He's doing that, yeah. But I'm just saying...
to yell at people and get motivated.
Who's going to... I think leadership, true leadership on a team comes from within the players, within the guys that you're going to battle with. not necessarily. It doesn't come from the coaching staff. I mean, you've been around teams. Your son's on a basketball team. I think once you establish leadership among the players, then you've got something you can work with moving forward. That's all I got.
Angela Finley says he doesn't rally the team. Maybe just.
I agree with that. So yeah, Angela says, yes, we need a new coach. Need to get a pass rush, absolutely. Kevin Gray needs to do this more. Yes, look at this. Michael says you need to do this show more often.
Well, thank you, Michael. Yeah, you know what's scary, though? This is just such a weird world for me to be in. So if I blow a forecast,
right,
then people, have an opinion.
Never done.
Oh, no. I mean, like one of my most therapeutic moments was after a big forecast was blown, to go on the air and explain why we were wrong, why I blew the forecast.
Right.
And so to have that kind of public spotlight on you in this world, looking at it, it's a weird thing. Now, I know they're big boys, they make tons of money in that, but every Monday to just have yourself dissected and ripped apart and occasionally celebrated when you do something well.
Right.
I don't know if they just turn the volume all the way off and they're not listening to this in any way, which they don't need to listen to us or the fans necessarily, but it's a weird dynamic.
Two things. It comes with the territory. And so I think a lot of these guys are used to it, especially by now, because a lot of these guys come from big-time programs. Ron Kelly, Alabama, Luck comes from Stanford. They're used to big-time spotlights on them. So they realize it comes with the territory. It comes with a paycheck as well. But I always get a kick out of the athletes and some of the coaches, not the coaching staff here with the Colts, but some coaches will say, I don't pay attention to the media. Chances are the guys that say they don't pay attention actually pay attention.
Yeah.
And even when Bob Knight was the head coach at IU, and he would say, I don't pay attention to what you guys write or what you guys say on TV. But he had other guys that did and would let Knight know what was going on in the media in Indianapolis.
So Kimberly Reed says, totally agree, Dave. His aura just doesn't command the respect needed to rally the team. Love, luck, but the vibe is off.
I think that's a great way to put it. The vibe is off. When he speaks after games, I don't know what it is, but to me, he just doesn't have it. I don't know. That's just me, perhaps. We'll see. Let's hear from Darius Butler. He also spoke earlier today, and he was asked about T.Y. Hilton. T.Y. going into the game was going on and on about, hey, this is Game 7. This is what this is our time. This is why you play in the NFL. And then, of course, they lay an egg during the game. And then T.Y. after the game says, yeah, we just laid down. We just gave up. And so Darius Butler today was asked about T.Y.'s comments.
You have to talk to T.Y. about his personal comment, but I can understand his frustration. It'll probably be a lot of things that I would have said if you caught me walking off the field with that situation. Obviously, looking back at it, just watched the film with my coaches and the other players in my room, and just seeing the things we play. We feel like we made plays, but it was definitely plays that we could have made that we left out there. And you never know which play it's going to be. It could be a fumble recovery. It could be a pass breakup that should have been an interception. It could be a missed tackle. I had some missed tackles. So it could be any play that can lead to, something happening. So, but I personally, I think, guys, put their effort. The effort was there, no doubt. And guys know what was on the line. And, what's still on the line. We're going to still come to work the same way.
Darius, does it feel like the hope has just been sucked out of the building today?
Yesterday, if in the locker room you asked me that, the answer would probably been yes. Everything that was surrounding that game coming into the game, Game 7, you call it whatever you want. Everybody knows what that game was about. And to lose it, it sucked. But, it was the same way if you'd asked me the first time we played them. It was probably the same feeling. And now we had the opportunity again. So we're going to keep working, keep playing, and the chips will fall where they do. And hopefully we're in a position where we can be in a position like that where the game's, it's the same way.
All right, so Darius Butler doing what most of these guys do. I mean, it's about pride again, there's an outside shot that they can still win the division and make the playoffs, but let's be realistic about it. A lot of these guys are playing for jobs for next year.
But at one point early in the season, too, you thought, okay, we're in big trouble. They're not going to, and then we at least clawed back to where you think, okay, we could have controlled our own destiny.
Right.
And now you're back in the passenger seat.
Well, I mean, that's remarkable in its own right, because you go back about a month or so ago, you thought this team's dead in the water. They have no shot at anything. Let's just blow up everything now and look ahead to next year. But because Houston's so bad, they
lost 3 in a row.
They lost 3 in a row, and all of a sudden, here they are. The Colts are still back in it. They go on Monday night, a week ago tonight, and they look like division champs against the New York Jets. However, they're the New York Jets. Does that make any sense? The Jets. Let's face it. I mean, the Jets.
And that was an overtime game last night. They played with San Francisco, wasn't it? Sometime maybe this weekend.
Did they win?
I don't know if they pulled it out. Tell me in my ear, but I think they were up like 2 touchdowns, and then I think it went to overtime. So I don't know what happened. Let me check.
Why don't you check? Meanwhile, let's hear from one more guy, Trent Cole, who's back from injury, and he sees some time now the last couple of games defensively. One of those guys that has to step up with DeQuell Jackson now out for the remainder of the season. Again, he can come back in the postseason if the Colts make it that far. But obviously Robert Mathis is out. Robert Mathis may have played his final game with the Colts. Think about that. Listen to Trent Cole now.
It's very tough. There's a lot of things that can happen. We're not out of this thing. But the thing is that we got to do our part. And that's why we're here today. It's the day after the game, and we're here, and everybody's here, and everybody knows what we have to do. We're still in this thing, and we'll find out at the end. At the end of the day, but we don't want to go, get to the end of the season and regret not winning these games. So we're focused, and we're going to get after it coming up against the Vikings here.
What was the mood in the locker room like right after the game? Was it anger? Was it shock? What was it like?
Like anything, when losing a tough game like that, just shock. There's a lot of shock, and everybody played hard. The whole team. This is a team game, and like I said, we win as a team, we lose as a team, and that's what it's about. And I reiterated that yesterday, and like I said, it was just a very, very, very tough loss.
All right, so Trent Cole saying this thing isn't over, and technically he's right, but they need a lot of help, a lot of it.
He hadn't said a lot. His posture is a little better, though, than it was earlier in the show. But, I think like most Colt fans, he's probably just kind of laid back at this point. And are the Colts ready to hibernate? That's the question.
Mike chimes in, 23-17. Yep, Jets won that game. If only the Colts could play the Jets and the Niners and the Bears the entire season, they'd have a shot at a championship. So I just want to thank Michael Moss writes in. Last play started almost 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage. The play call on 4th down baffled me beyond belief. I agree. I think they should have just handed the ball off to Turbin at that point. I like Turbin a lot. I know he's a backup running back, but the guy can usually get you 2 or 3 yards at least. And why they decided to throw the ball is beyond me there on 4th and 1. By the way, that's the same play, essentially the same play that sprung the touchdown earlier in the game for Frank Gore. So that's why they went back to that. But I think the timing was poor. You just give the ball to Robert or to Turbin at that point. So I don't know. You know what we're talking about? 4th and 1.
Yeah. I was listening on the radio.
How did Bob Lamey handle that call?
Not well.
Not well.
It just never had a chance,
Yeah.
That was the reaction.
Yeah, Matt Rhodes chimes in. What is the talk around the complex about coaching and GM? Nothing more than what you guys are talking about and what we've talked about on the air is that I think there is inevitable change coming for this team. Coaching staff, I don't know if Grigson's going to be able to survive all this. I think it's just time for a new direction as well. So we'll see. Mike chimes in. We will have a new coach and GM next season. I would tend to agree with that. but we'll see. We'll see. All right, big night Saturday night at the Coliseum.
So the Indy Fuel game, if you've never been to a game, it's great fun. It's great entertainment. But this Saturday night is the teddy bear toss. And so you bring a new teddy bear to the game. First goal scored by the Fuel. You throw the bear onto the ice. Now this guy here, I can't throw him because someone would end up in concussion protocol. But we'll hand him off. But that's a great night. It's fun for the kids. And literally, I think almost 2,000 last year. So I think we'll fill the ice. And then they have to stop the game for a little bit. Obviously, get all of those off, and then they'll be distributed to families in need. It's great fun.
It is a great night, and there's video posted. You've got a spot on Facebook right now. The 96 Facebook.
Yeah, I had hockey skates on for the first time in my life and was skating.
You were skating pretty well, though.
I did okay. I mean, I'd had figure
time?
skates on before, but not the hockey skates. I mean, I used to go as a kid to, I remember on Monument Circle, and in the in the fountains that would freeze over, and you would skate there. So, I mean, this is sports related. I think we should take the downtown canal, and if you could skate for blocks, that would be awesome.
Speed skating.
Yeah, no, I think it would be great. There's other sports things I think we should do. We should have snowmobile racing at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Ooh. Let me know what you think about that. We should have the X Games at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Summer X Games. Summer.
How about winter X Games at the Indianapolis?
Yeah, but I don't know if we get enough snow. And you might even be questionable whether we could make enough snow and then keep it. But definitely the Summer X Games we could do.
You know who would love snowmobile races at the Speedway would be Paul Page.
Yeah.
Who, back in the day, our friend Paul Page would cover and call snowmobile races on, I believe, Wide World of Sports on ABC. I believe it goes back. I remember Wide World back. This is we're showing our age now. Wide World of Sports.
70s, early 80s.
I want to say 80s, probably. I think Paul Page did that. But anyway, anything else chiming in here? Mike Bostic is. Do you think the Colts will bring in Cloney Dungy? This is my buddy Mike Bostic. We've done stories on Cloney. Love Cloney. He was featured on the national telecast Thanksgiving night on the Steelers game. So very nice. Mike Bostic chiming in. What else do we have here? Snowmobile racing, I would give front row seats. Look at this. Michael Boss wants front row seats.
No, I mean, I think there's a lot of fun things you could do, but I really believe we could host the Summer X Games, and it would be huge. And just look at all the built-in seating you've got for events like that, and use the infield. And they keep thinking outside the box all the time on what to do. Yep. And that would be
and whatnot,
a great thing. And you're talking to a guy, I'm a 51-year-old guy, and I'm ready to see a double bakey down the front stretch.
We can get Doug Bowles online real quick if you want to toss that out.
If we can start throwing out the X Games lingo in the Motor Speedway, that would be something.
Oh, there's been plenty of lingo tossed around the Speedway before. All right, I think that'll do it. We apologize for coming on late. Usually we're on right at 8 o'clock, and we will do so next Monday to recap the Colts and the Vikings coming up Sunday up in Minneapolis. So
it's been a pleasure to sit in.
You going to come back and join us?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of fun. I'm just more nonverbal.
We took away from your dinner.
I got 2 pork chops and some green beans that I'll still get the chance to eat.
All right. For Kevin Gregory, do you have a name for the...
I don't. Barry.
I'm Dave First. A little horseplay here on Monday night on the RTV6 Facebook page, RTV6 app as well. If you're watching on the app, thanks for hanging with us on that as well. We'll see you next Monday.